Hello and welcome to another edition of Up the Pilgrims. This is the podcast of Boston United of the National League. And I am once again joined by Stedders and by David. Hello guys, how you both doing?
Very, very well. I think we're
Hot.
both very well. You can see that. It's like a sauna in this room. I'm sweating.
It's so hot, but yeah, we're good, mate. It's pre-season, it's back.
Yeah, of course. And they probably just had the showers on, Stedders. That's probably why you're hot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly the reason why. As you can see, I'm in the changing room tonight, guys. Yeah, don't
Been
forget
given special access. Of course, yes, and it is a bit of a hot one today. And first of all, we're gonna talk about the friendlies, and then we're gonna go on to the league tables. And we've all done our prediction for the for the 24 teams and where every team is going to finish in the National League, and we will go through that very soon indeed. So if you are watching from another team, keep watching, and we will do that very soon indeed. And it'll be interesting to see who we think's going to win the league, who we think's going to win the playoffs, and who we think's going to be relegated. Be interesting. So, well, we've had 3 games as of recording in the friendlies so far. We played Boston Town last week, which we won 1-0. Then we went to Spalding at the weekend and unfortunately lost 2-1. And then we've had our first home game this past Tuesday when we lost to Grimsby Town 2-0. So, Stedders, what did you make of the friendlies so far?
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't make the first 2 of them, but I did go to the Grimsby game on Tuesday. So, but we've just got to remember about these friendly games is it's all fitness, isn't it, this time of the season? So it's just trying things out, new players. On Tuesday, I think they brought on 22 different players at once, didn't they, or something like that, or near enough, wasn't it? Near the full 2 squads. But obviously reports from the Boston Town game was that it was pretty decent, to be honest with you. Quite dominated the game. I think that they had one good penalty shout. I think I read somewhere as well, didn't they, or something that looked maybe it could have been a penalty to them. But bar from that, not much to trouble the goalkeepers, was it?
No.
Obviously, Spalding's just our bogey side, aren't they? We lost to them last season as well. But it's great to put money into a local club, isn't it? And that's all about, that game. Let's be honest. They've done really well to get promoted. So I'm not surprised that they did us over. I'll just give you my reflection, like I say, from the Grimsby game. I thought we played pretty well, to be honest with you. I thought it was a good game. Very competitive. The speed is there. They're trying to get up to quick match sharp fitness. You can see that. Particularly impressed with Dan Mooney on the side there coming in. He looked very, very bright throughout that first half. I do like a bit of Cameron Green at the back as well. He looks like a very good signing to me. But all these new players are just starting to gel with the old guys. We've mentioned it, and like I say, we sound like a broken record, but we can't reiterate the fact enough that having them old guys around and the old squad, we lost 4 in the end, didn't we? And then just adding to that was what we wanted, and we've got what we wanted. And you can tell already that, them guys are already clicked, and it's just really just adding to it now. Obviously, the top end of the pitch is probably where we need to look at still. I still fear for us scoring goals in the National League, but 3 games in, we can't complain of what we've seen so far, I don't think.
David?
Yeah, I sort of echo the same as Tom. Really, I went to Boston Town. That was purely just minutes in legs, really. 1-0. Nice little finish from was it Osborne in the end? I can't
Osborne, that's it. Yeah.
But it was like one of the only few shots of the game. It was literally just a training game, I should say. And then Spalding, I didn't make it to Spalding, but yeah, they've done well. They're a good local club. They're cash strapped as well. They got loads of money. I can see them going up again this year, even trying to make that stride to National League North. I think that's 2 divisions above them, but we'll have to see. I did go, like I said, I went to the Grimsby one as well. It like I echo what Tom said. It was a good contest against some decent players out there. People like trialists from Charlton and I believe Woods played for Grimsby for about 4 or 5 years. And granted, he did score, but we were competitive, especially in that first half of the game. I thought the squad that we fielded in the first half was probably a bit more was to look a bit more like our first team, like as in the second half that we played. It was very youth focused with like Michael Bostwick dotted in and Keaton Ward. So I think that team that we saw the first half we're starting to see a bit of what we're going to do. And we were playing this weird formation here, but pre-season's the time to try it. I believe we're playing like, I don't know, it was like an asymmetrical 3-5-2 where the fullbacks are running up and down. They're going to be knackered at the end of the day. But if that's how Cool House wants to play, you better try it out and see pre-season, because I don't want to be playing Rochdale on that first game and getting spanked 3-0. So, we'll just have to see if he does it again against Kettering, or will he even use the first team against Kettering, because that is a weird friendly. I can't lie.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. I went to the Boston Town game. Obviously, saw you there, David, as well.
Mhm.
And like you say, first game, it was definitely all about the fitness, wasn't it? It was nothing else with that game. Just getting minutes in the legs and getting used to playing a game again, 90-minute game. Didn't go to Spalding, unfortunately, but obviously, like you guys, went to the Grimsby game. I thought it was a very good performance. Both halves from both sets of teams that played, and yeah, very impressed with the new guys. They showed some good moves, like you say, did a lot of running, had a few shots as well, and I think it'd be interesting to see where we go, who he picks, for his first team, who he's going to go with up front as well. That would be quite interesting. I would imagine. I don't know. Maybe Marriott and Hazel. Do you think of that, or do you think he's going to add one of the other new guys up there?
I think we need to add. I think we need to add. Adam Marriott's not the player he was 4 or 5 years ago. Let's face it. If he can, I think if he starts scoring goals, we'll be okay. But he can't buy a goal for love nor money. It was like 2 yards out against Grimsby the other day. It comes off the post and hits back into him and goes wide. Then he hits the post on the other side. He's not as sharp. If he can get his sharpness up and he gets a few goals, he'll bag a few this year. But it's just how long it takes, and if we can see the old Adam Marriott again rather than this new one. But bear in mind, he has had his injuries, so we're just sort of bedding him in at the moment, and hopefully it comes good in the end. But we should probably we've looked at the loan market for Tony Weston. I've been really impressed by him. He's a bright little spark running down that left flank, I believe. And if we might need to look at it again, depending on how long it takes Marriott to score goals. I've been impressed by Hazel so far. He looks like he's back to his self in, I believe it was January time, where he's bagging goals for fun. Just hopefully he can make the step up into the National League and do it here.
I thought Marriott, I would say the one thing with Marriott, he looks fitter than he did obviously last season. He came to us on the back of an injury, and just didn't fit in at all, did he? He didn't make any change to the team at all last season. This season, as I say, he looks fitter, but like you say, he just needs to maybe get that first goal, and let's see if the confidence comes, or whether it just then we have to wait a while for another goal. It'll be interesting, won't it, Tom?
Come January, this guy's either going to have 10 goals for the season, or he's going to be out on loan to Gainsborough Trinity. Let's put it that way. That's the truth of it, isn't it? That's what we're going to get. It really is make or break for him, I think, now, this part of the season for him. And it's up to him how he wants to step on from here. But I think Weston, Hazel, and Dan Mooney would be the starting front three for me personally at the minute.
Yeah.
With Marriott taking a berth on the bench. And obviously the amount of subs we can use nowadays as well. I think we can name 7 and use 5. So, games can change very differently from having 5 subs being allowed to come on, can't it? So, but at the minute, like I say, I just think it's a very make or break season for Adam Marriott, and how his football career goes from here. And we just hope it's the first one that I said, don't we? 10 goals in, and then keep firing from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to agree with you there. And obviously we've got Kettering this weekend come in, and like you say, will it be the under 23s, or will he play the first team again? It'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah, we'll just have to see come 2:00 tomorrow. I would probably bank on it being the youth. I think it's a good experimental game. So weird, by the way. Like, I'd like a nice little trip to Latimer Park, but no, we're playing them at home, which is really weird for a side that's 2 leagues below us now. But yeah, it's just another game to go to, and hopefully just more minutes in the legs, build a bit more confidence, and we might even get to see some new players. Because I can't lie, the last 2 set of trialists that we had, I believe one was Will Van Leer. I don't know who the one was from the other night, but they didn't really impress me. I don't know about you guys.
No, I wouldn't have said they didn't make too much difference really in the game. I guess it depends what Cully's after exactly and whether they impressed him in that way. But yeah, I mean they didn't really make much of a difference when they were on the pitch, did they, Steaders?
Not really, not for me either. No, all I can remember is one guy losing the ball a lot down the right hand side from that Grimsby game. To be honest with you, do you know what? Just about this Kettering friendly, I wonder if there's ever been written in one of these contracts on these players we've signed, like an agreement or something like that we have to play him in a friendly if we signed him. Could be anything like that, or maybe Paul Cox's ghost is coming back to haunt us. Whatever it is, it could be anything, couldn't it? Who knows? But yeah, very, very strange and weird one. This. I don't expect a massive crowd there on Saturday either, especially if the weather stays the way it is. Going to watch Kettering versus Boston in a heat wave was not going to be on many people's Saturday's list, I don't think.
I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there. I know a few. Some diehards will be there. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, very, very strange when they organise this one pre-season.
Yeah, and then obviously we've got Peterborough United next Tuesday, which I'm sure we'll get more of a crowd in. And then we've got Saturday we've got Peterborough Sports away, and another chance to sing Yassi's song one final time. and then obviously we've got Notts County at home before visiting Gainsborough for the final pre-season. So a busy time coming up in the next couple of weeks and lots of games as well. Steaders.
Yeah, good games to look forward to. Like you say, minutes in the tank, finding new things. Come them Notts County and Gainsborough games, you're going to start to see that first 11 start being used. It's got to be about them two games when it's going to be start thinking about that kind of thing. I think that some of the positions are pretty nailed on and some are still to fight for. So it's a very interesting time of the season, isn't it? Will he go with his tried and tested? This is the point. Will it be Zach Mills at right back? Will it be Zach? Would it be? Because at the minute we've got centre halves now that can do a job, haven't we? So will it be Zach in at right back, or will he have to take himself a place on the bench as well? All answers that will be come August the 10th. We'll all have all the answers to all these questions, won't we?
We will, of course. First game at home to Rochdale, and David, looking forward to it.
Oh, of course. I've been waiting a long time for proper football to start. Boston to be back in the National League, and let's just hope we turn up and we do a number on them for so many years ago. I can't remember
it. Oh, of course, yes, in the FA Cup, yes, of course.
Yeah, that's what I was referring.
Yeah, I remember that game very well. And and we've got 4 Saturdays in a row, I believe, as well at home for the start of the season, which is fantastic, really. So a chance for the players to really sort of bed in and get used to playing in the National League and on home turf as well. So should be really good. So, right, well, shall we have a look at our predictions? Because we have all done predictions for the National League and where we think each team from 1 to 24, where we think they're going to finish. I think some of us have struggled. Setters?
Disclaimer in at this point, viewers and listeners. I know sweet FA about the National League. It has been so long since we've been here. I'm really sorry if I get any of these wrong. Please don't take offence. This is just for fun, just for predictions. And don't come knocking on my door at the end of the season if I've got all 24 wrong. It is just for fun and see if we can try and predict an absolute bonkers league that is the National League. We've been trying to predict National League North for the past 14 seasons and got it wrong. So, let's try and get this one wrong. Absolutely. Bring it on.
Yeah, and as I say, we are new to the National League. So, yeah, if you're listening and you're a fan of another team, and maybe we don't place your team as high up as you'd probably feel like they should be, or they should finish, then don't come running. We're just this is our predictions. We're new to the league. Be kind to us, please. David, any comments?
Yeah, just. Don't not let us know. Obviously, let us know we're wrong at the end of the year. We're going to do a follow-up episode at the end of the season.
Absolutely,
and we're going to publicly humiliate us because we'll all have got 0 out of 24, guys. So, but to be honest, I'm quietly confident, I reckon I can get 6. I reckon I can get 6 out of 24. And that'll be a good result.
I'm happy with 1.
We've got this on recording. Yeah. He's happy with 6. Right. Yeah. Right.
We'll see,
So
we'll
are
see.
we're gonna go from bottom to top, and we're gonna start with who we think is gonna finish bottom of the National League next season. So who wants to go first?
You're the host, Damo. You lead us off. Then go to
Okay,
David, then go
I'm
to
gonna
me.
go first, and I am sorry to say, but I think in 24th place and being relegated next season will be Braintree Town. There you go. Um, Promotion this season, did well to go up, but I just don't know. I just don't. I think they might struggle a bit, and yeah, I think they're going to go back down. Steaders.
Yeah, actually, 24th place for me is Braintree Town. So that's one apiece there, Damo. Yeah, big step up, isn't it? It's been a great journey for them so far. Though they've done really well, haven't they? But this league's relentless, absolutely
Yeah.
relentless. I can't see them getting enough points to stay up. And their home form's going to be vital. And like I say, we're going to probably touch a little bit about how we think Boston will fare. These two games against Braintree are going to be they're going to target to get points from.
Yeah.
So I probably anticipate 4 out of 6 minimum from a Boston point of view from these two games. That's what probably they'll be aiming for, I think. I don't know what David thinks.
Yeah, you look at Braintree's recruitment this year, and there's some good players in there. I wouldn't be surprised if they finished maybe a bit high. I'm just hinting. But no, Ini Effiong, who used to play for Dagenham and Redbridge, he's been a striker around this league for years. He's getting on a bit, but he's got goals in him, so we'll have to watch out for him. But you look at these like sort of smaller, lower echelon teams, sorry to say, but they are in this league much as we are as well, and we need it. These games are going to be so important. These two probably relegation faced sides pitting their heads against each other, and whoever wins these points will be pivotal, because that will just. But basically, you have to beat people around you to stay up, and it's just what Boston have to do this year. We'll have to see how they do. But in my 24th position, I predicted a team that we know well from last year. I predicted Tamworth. I don't believe Tamworth. Mm-hmm. It's worked 2 years in a row. Will it work in the National League? Probably not. The long ball football that they like to play, that they're known and hated for across the north of the country. Yeah, it's not the nicest to watch. You might need a neck brace next time you go and watch Tamworth play. But no, I believe that Andy Peake's a good manager, but I don't think he can do a job in the National League, especially with the players that they've got. I remember they've signed 13 or so, but that's including retentions. They've retained most of their former squad, and I just don't think, like when I went down in January, I just don't think the infrastructure was there to be in the National League. But you never know. Pete could do it again 3 times in a row up the Rams.
Well, I'm looking forward to travelling to Tamworth because, of course, Spudman is there.
Oh yeah, nice.
If you've heard of Spudman, he sells jacket potatoes there and on TikTok a lot, and other social medias are available, and other jacket potatoes vendors are available as well. Just to say, but no, it should be. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's fair enough. So yeah, Tamworth. So you think Tamworth, and we've both gone for Braintree. So right, 23rd. Right. I've gone for Maidenhead.
Ooh.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I just think they're not going to do too well, and I just think they're gonna struggle this season. And as I say, there's a lot of good teams in the National League this season. A lot of ex-league teams as well. Teams with big grounds as well. I just think some of these smaller clubs might struggle a little. So, yeah, I'm going for Maidenhead in 23rd. Steaders?
Yeah, I've gone for a team that struggled a bit last season in the National League. I'm afraid the Raiders going to come and get me. It's Wealdstone for me. So Wealdstone into 23rd for me. They flirted with relegation last season, didn't they? They only just stayed up, I think, towards the back end of the season.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, National League fans, because again, not very, very one of my strong points in terms of football, I must admit. But yeah, I flirted with them, season just gone. And again, I think that's a team Boston should be targeting points from this season, especially in the home game against them. But yeah, sorry, Mr. Raider. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. But 23rd for Wealdstone for me, and obviously going down.
David?
Yeah, similar to you guys previous. I put Braintree in 23rd. It's like we say, it's a big step up to the National League. Will we make it? We never know. Honestly, these predictions are very hard and could turn out to be utter rubbish by the end of the year, but we'll have to see. But no, Braintree look like they do better than 24th, but sadly, I don't think they'll make survival in the National League this year.
I guess the advantage with Braintree is they're in a good catchment area, aren't they? So, they could get a lot of decent players going to them, whereas a lot of other teams like Boston, I guess, as some people say, we're a little bit stuck out on the East Coast and not the easiest of places to get to. So again, some might, that's probably why some might say we're going to struggle.
Catch 22 though, Damo, isn't it? Because you've got a lot of clubs around there, and then they've got a lot of choice as well. So it can work both ways, can't it? Heavily populated areas.
Exactly.
I think that Bishop Stortford was one, weren't it? That really found their struggles there, didn't they? Because of them being in the National League North when they could have been in the South and recruited a lot better. And they said a lot of people a lot of lads just didn't want to travel to the game. So despite being where they were geographically. It actually shot them in the foot, didn't it? So, but yeah, it can work both ways. But yeah, I can see why we've both gone for, all three of us have gone for Braintree in that bottom four.
Yeah, definitely. Right. My 22nd team is Tamworth. Again, like you were saying, David, they've done well to sort of get promotion for the last couple of years. But they just play that one type of football. I think they're going to try and carry that on, and like you say, will it work in the National League? I'm not too sure, really. They've signed a few players. They've signed a few players on, but yeah, I'm afraid I think Tamworth are going to struggle, really, and I think it's just possibly a step too far just for now. And they're going to finish 22nd, I think, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, Tamworth. Sorry, Spudman, as well.
Don't spit in our jacket potatoes, Spudman, will you, please?
No. Right, Steaders.
22nd. It's funny, isn't it, how we've actually gone for most of these teams, but in different order. So mine's Maidenhead United, actually, Damo. So, yeah, I'll agree with you. I think that Maidenhead will probably finish 22nd. I just don't think they're going to have enough to get over the line or to get that magical number of points they need to stay up. So Maidenhead United for me, I'm afraid they are in my bottom four berths. But again, must reiterate to all the listeners and viewers, this is not easy, and we could be completely wrong. We don't mind admitting we are completely wrong come what June, and then we'll see what it all like them. But yeah, sorry, Maidenhead, it's for you.
Yeah, David.
22nd, sorry. I've gone for Ebbsfleet. Ebbsfleet have been flirting around with relegation for years in the National League. And just as Little Boston come up, I believe that this will be the year that they go down. It's like I say, they're all on that south coast. They get a good attraction of players, but they're a bit far out the way for me, especially. And they've got to travel all these long games up to like Gateshead and Pools. It's going to be hard for them, and they've got a lot of money. It just depends on whether they recruit right and they stay up or not. We'll just have to see.
Oh, Ebbsfleet's down near where I come from, so down in Kent. So yeah, not far from Bluewater. You could have a shopping day in Bluewater and then go and watch the football. And yeah, I've been to that ground actually. Stonebridge Road, I believe unless it's changed its name now. It used to be called Stonebridge Road, and yeah, a nice little, not a bad little ground, not a bad little non-league ground there at Ebbsfleet. So Gravesend and Northfleet, they were known at the time when I went. So yeah. So. That's fair enough. Okay. 21st for me. Sorry, Raider. Wealdstone for me is going to be 21st position. Again, I think, like you say, they struggled last season. They just about hung on in there. But I think maybe this season could be a step too far for them. Again, like I said, with the big teams there, I think it's their time to go down to the National League South probably next season. So again, I might be completely wrong, and I will admit it come May, June, and I'll put my hands up and apologise. But for me, yeah, 21st will be Wealdstone. Steaders.
Yeah, 21st is probably the worst position to finish in this league, isn't it? Let's be honest. You don't want to finish there at all, because that means you're top of the bottom, really. And these usually go down to quite the thing to the last end of the season. I put my little Boston hat on for this one. I'm really sorry. And one of the games I'm really looking forward to, being a Boston fan, and everybody knows the history behind it, Dagenham and Redbridge. I'm sorry, but I've sent you down. Last relegation place for you, I'm afraid. Massive, massive history there. Back in the day, Boston obviously got themselves up from the conference after a win themselves, and obviously Dagenham and Redbridge stayed down. We haven't played each other, I don't think, since. So this is going to be such an interesting couple of games for the Boston. But yeah, Daggers for me to go down. I'm sorry to all them out there.
But yeah, I can't wait for that one. I can't lie. That's going to be a good away day. That
really tasty game. Trust me,
It
guys.
will
That's
be.
going to be a
It will
really
be.
good game. Hopefully competitive and friendly banter. Let's face it. We're back where we should be now, aren't we? So friendly banter, but there's going to be plenty of banter there. I got a feeling on this one.
No more brown envelopes. Sorry. No,
none of that.
No. Yeah, in my 21st spot, it's a team we all know quite recently. They got promoted a few years ago. They've sort of held their own. They were struggling a bit to the end of last season. They sort of dropped out, and that's AFC Fylde. Yes, they've got lots of money, but it's a hard place to get fans. You look around Fleetwood, Blackpool, places like that, all big clubs nearby, and Fylde's just let's face it, a small team there. They don't get very good attendances in this league. Yes, they do. Their owner does have a lot of money, but it's just whether they've got the bottle to stay up. I believe they've gone for a sort of Culverhouse start type squad. Lots of young players, especially one to look out for this year is Danny Omarodi. Scored a few goals last year. I believe he's only like 21 years old. He's their starting striker. So yeah, we'll have to see how he performs against us. Hopefully he doesn't score too many against us. And yeah, I believe it won't be enough to help them stay up. So yeah, sorry to all the Fylde fans out there.
Got to say, Fylde have got a really nice ground, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been there myself, but I saw it on when at the end of the season when they were showing all the teams that are going to be in the National League in the coming season, and Fylde's ground looks amazing.
It is state of the art for the league. It's one of the best, maybe not the best for atmosphere, obviously, but like. And I don't think their playing surface is that good, but like stadium architecture wise, it's one you've just got to go to. I was lucky enough to go there in the playoffs when we beat them 2 years ago, 2-0 in the playoffs. That was a great day out and a great stadium. But like I say, it's sort of limiting them being located next to all these big teams. They don't draw very big crowds, and yeah, it's just a shame. The whole infrastructure's there, but they don't seem to draw very big crowds, which is a shame really, because it's a great setup.
And of course, yeah, because they're up Lancashire way, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Fylde,
Yeah.
Blackpool way, and all that. So yeah, a lot of teams, unfortunately, to compete with up that way. But yeah, no, they're gonna, as far as you're concerned, they are gonna go down. So that is the bottom four. So we're fairly similar, we've all repeated a couple of teams.
I think it's all going to go a bit wrong coming up, though, Dave.
Yeah.
It probably is, but we're going to go right. Who's going to just survive 20th position? I've gone for a team that we all know quite well. Got promoted last season in the playoffs at Brackley. Yeah. Of course, Boston United, I think, are going to survive just in 20th position, I'm afraid. But we survived, and that is the important thing, as far as I hope.
Yeah, my team just scraping by the skin of their teeth is Woking, actually. Obviously, because they're in very, very financial dire straits at the minute, aren't they? So we're not too sure how they're going to start the season, what team's going to start the season. So I've just put them into 20th for that reason. I think they're going to struggle this season, but I think they will just stay up. And you know what I mean? Again, there's so many teams down that side, isn't there? And that's part of the country again, isn't there? But yeah, Woking for me just to scrape in by the skin of their teeth.
Do you know what? I wasn't sure about. I didn't realise about that. Hang on, can I just scrub one? I'm afraid Woking won't win the league now.
My 20th place is Boston United also. I think we'll scrape in, and I think
you've let me down, boys. You've let me down.
You've got to be sort of realistic as well. You know, we're not going to come up and absolutely put our mark on the league. You've got to be realistic, and it's more hope than we've got evidence for at the moment. But no, I believe we can do it. Rouse has had his time to build his squad, and he's still building. He wants to add a few more. We'll just have to see how he goes and see if they can make a step up to the National League. This young squad, led by a few experienced leaders, but no, we'll just have to wait and see. And I'm so eager for the 10th of August against Rochdale.
Of course, I must admit, when I saw the fixtures come out and I went through each game each month, and I'm thinking, oh no, we're going to lose that. We could lose that. We could lose that. Oh no, they're going to be tough games. But then when I did come to do this table, I actually thought to myself, you know what? Actually, there are teams that, no offence to the bottom four that I think are going to be relegated, but I think we could do better than these teams, and quite easily. To be honest, I probably put a few teams above that we could even finish above them as well, that we've got coming up. Teams that you've already mentioned, maybe that I haven't. So, yeah, it's, I do think we could do okay. I think we could easily finish bottom half, maybe, even though I've said 20th. But it's, it's going to be hard. But yeah, I still think there's teams beatable above us, to be fair.
That's a really tough start in August for us, though, guys, and the August month is gonna literally make or break us. I think from the start, we're playing teams from top to the middle to teams. It's a tough start for us, but I think we'll have a real indication about where we're going to be going come September already. And there's not many seasons you can say that, to be honest with you.
No, they're very true, actually, David.
Yeah, we play a whole host of teams in that month. Started with Rochdale, then Forest Green, and then is that the Southend?
Southend, then yeah,
and then what's the one after that? We've got someone else at home. Oh, I can't remember. But like you say, those three alone are tough battles. Forest Green just come down. Rochdale playing well in this league. They've not really found their footing since they got relegated, but they're a force to be reckoned with. And Southend, we all know Southend shouldn't really be here because their financial struggles and all, but we'll just have to see how that plays out. Obviously, a massive club. I hope they get their financial trouble sorted out, but you never know what can happen. They're having players want to play for them purely for the reason of, they're going to be the squad that saved the club and they're going to be the one. I've seen them. I have to admit, I have done my research. I've looked around at loads of other predictions and people are saying, they're going to finish 5th in the playoffs and win it and stuff like that. I've seen people putting them as champions, and I think
you've been looking at mine.
I was about to say they were unrealistic, but I'll keep them. You spoiled it for everyone now. Oh well.
Oh dear. Right. Shall we go on to the next one?
Let's go on to the next one. Yeah.
Right. 19th. Finishing just above Boston, as we reckon, in 20th. I've got AFC Fylde. Again, I think they might just survive this season. They've been up there now a couple of years or a year, and they go. Is it their second season in there now? This will be their second season in the National League.
Is it third?
Third. And so. Yeah, so I think they've survived 2 years so far, and I think they'll just about survive this year as well. So AFC Fylde in 19th position for me. Steaders.
A team mentioned already by you, I think, Dave, or somebody's mentioned it already. Eastleigh for me, 19th. So I'll put them down there. Again, don't really know much about your club. I'm really sorry, and I haven't done much research. I'm openly put my hands up and admit that. But yeah, Eastleigh down at 19th for me.
David?
Yeah, and at 19th, I've gone similar to Tom. I've gone with Woking because I read the financial situation that they were in this morning, and I was like, doesn't look good. I believe they're borrowing something like they've had to borrow 700,000 off on the family. Don't quote me on this. To even start and use for the playing budget this season. So if they're having to rely on other sources to fund their money, I think they're definitely open to investment at the moment. And like I said, I wouldn't wish financial disparity upon anyone, but I think if the behind the scenes stuff sort of, it can really, really have an impact on the playing field, and we'll just have to see if they can cope with it or not. And that's why I tip them to be quite low. I think they might stay up, but I just think it might get a bit too much for them.
Like you say, we don't want to see any club sort of go out of business or struggle, and financially. And they're in a good catchment area, as we've said, Woking. So let's hope that they can get someone in there that can sort the financial troubles out and keep them afloat. So fingers crossed for that one. So that's 19th, 18th, and is a team that I've actually spoken to Mike, who runs the podcast for this team, and Sutton United. I've got for 18th. So sorry, Mike. Again, I mean, they got relegated last season, didn't they, from the league? And there always seems to be a team that kind of comes down and then kind of struggles again. And I think, unfortunately, it might be Sutton United this time. I think they're going to sort of struggle a little bit, after last season getting relegated. And I think they'll survive. But as I say, I think they'll probably finish a respectable 18th, so they'll stay up, but might struggle a little bit this season. So, yeah, that's my pick for 18th. Steaders?
Well, I'm sat in a dressing room, so I better tell them it's Boston United for me for 18th as well. So, yeah, not far off from where you guys have kind of said. So, yeah, but I think we might do a little bit better than what some people think, especially on these predictors that are putting us bottom. We know who you are. We've read them all on Facebook.
We'll be coming for you at the end of the season.
I reckon we can pleasantly surprise a few. Don't get me wrong. We're not putting up trees. We're not going for top 7 and trying to get in the Football League or any of that jazz. We are just consolidating our National League status. We're where we want to be. We're not putting all our eggs in one basket. We're not trying to bankrupt our own club. We're just going to be here and just going to pick up the odd point here or there when we need to. When the chips are down and Boston play good teams, what happens? They play better. And I just think there's plenty of teams in this league that we can play against and play well against and just pick the odd point up against and just scrape the odd result against. Like I say, we play better against. We struggle against bad teams. That's notorious. As Boston fans, we know that. We wouldn't have gone through them playoffs if that wasn't true. So, yeah, for me, it's 18th for Boston. A very good season in the National League and consolidating our spot in there.
David?
Yeah, fair. I've gone for one that Tom's already said. I've gone for Eastleigh. Deadest Owners Club, actually. No, I'd like to say I don't really know much about them, but yeah, I think they'll finish 18th. I've heard stories about them. They seem like they're going to play decent. I've been chatting to a few fans on this group thing on Twitter, and I believe it said like to play good football. So yeah, I think they'll have enough to stay up. Obviously, they've been in the league for a few years now. I'd expect them to stay up. So I reckon they're gonna finish 18th.
Yeah, and of course, like you say, they got Deji Satona now, who did well for Boston last season. He did okay, didn't he? He helped us out, became a fan favourite at the very end. But for whatever reasons, Boston didn't take him on again. So he's now gone to Eastleigh, and it'd be good to see him back at the Jakemans this season when Eastleigh visit. I guess maybe.
Just could be one to haunt us, guys.
Just to say hello to him. That's all. Just to say hello, welcome back, and then that's it. Not to score any goals.
Absolutely.
But no, that's fair enough. Yeah. So I've got them to come in a little while. I'm going to start with 7. I'm going to go on to 17th now, and I think Altrincham in 17th. Again, they've been sort of one of them teams that are always sort of around the National League. I don't think they're going to really set it alight, but I think they'll be, sort of bottom half, just there, just to make up the numbers, if you like. Sorry, Altrincham, but they've had a few players come in, and they might look okay, but 17th for me. Steaders.
Yeah, mine's actually a run of teams Boston are associated with. So, yeah, so 17th, a bit like this season. I think they're going to finish above us and I think it's going to be Tamworth in 17th for me. I think they're going to get enough home points to get themselves where they need to be. But I don't see them being like mega far in front of Boston either. I don't think there's much between the two sides in terms of there is definitely in playing styles, don't get me wrong. But in terms of probably where they could pick up points, I can see them picking up enough at home to get them over the line. So, yeah, Tamworth and the Lambs for 17th. But I think they'll be quite happy with that, to be honest with you. I think that'll be a great season for Tamworth. But you can't expect them to put them any higher than that. So, yeah, 17th for me.
And I think they're going to, like us, they're just going to look at surviving, aren't they, this season? That's all they want to do, is just survive. And if they do that, then I guess, like us, they'll be pretty happy at the end of the day. So, David?
Yeah, my 17th, I've gone with Wealdstone. Only stayed up due to Marcus Dewhurst and Mike Ribeiro, even though he played like 2 games for us. But it doesn't matter. Former Boston links in the side. Dewhurst has moved on to a club that I'm going to cover actually just in a second. But no, Ribeiro's still there. He was quite good in the 2 games, like in 180 minutes I saw him. But no, they've always been around in and around it. But I just think they're going bottom mid-table this time.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So 16th, I'm going to go for Ebbsfleet United. Yeah, again, they're one of these teams that have always been there. They did struggle a bit last season, and just about stayed up. But I think this season, again, bottom half, they're not going to probably set the league alight, but they're going to be there. They're going to get a few wins and a few draws, and which is, I think, is just going to be enough just to keep them bottom half of mid-table, really. So, yeah, Ebbsfleet United for me. Betters.
Yeah, again, a team associated with Boston, and the stadium announcer's not going to like me for this, but AFC Filed in 16th for me. So, yeah, I think that they'll do it again, do enough just to get themselves by in the league. And again, probably home form's critical for them. And like David said earlier, infrastructure and stadium-wise, it's top class. It's just a shame that the fans don't come out and support it. It is one of these Phoenix clubs, though, isn't it? That's not been around too long, so not much history behind it, which is probably the reason why they don't get such great average crowds. But yeah, Filed for me in 16th.
Yeah, and for me in 16th, I've gone for Maidenhead. I thought they'd finish higher than you guys because have you heard? Do you know Max Kilman, who plays for Wolves, the centre back?
They've got a lot of money from them, haven't they? Yeah,
4 million they got for him or something
really?
like that. I believe that is going to go a long way if they spend it right. They have to. And I believe they're developing the ground, but they're also putting a large portion of that into the team. And I don't know what a National League playing budget is, but 4 million seems like a lot of money to me. I can't lie. So I think they'll do decently, and they may even go higher than that. You never know. But they've always been in and around relegation. But this time, I reckon they'll stay up quite safely. May even push for top half.
Right. Well, I didn't know that one. So, right, I'll move them up and I'll move Woking back down. Right. Well, 15th, I've gone for Dagenham and Redbridge. Again, a team that's sort of thereabouts. They're in a good catchment area. They've got a few teams around them as well. Got a few derby games around them as well. But yeah, I think they're going to, again, sort of bottom half of mid-table, really, and going to have an average season and survive. So, yeah, that's them for me.
15th for me, again, associated with Boston United, formerly used to play at Kit Kat Crescent, is York City. I've gone for York City into 50. They didn't do too well this last season, did they? They struggled a little bit. So I think that they might have a bit of an indifferent season for them. Again, there'll be plenty away from the relegation zone. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? They'll be 15th, comfortable 15th as well. They've just got the right infrastructure. Got a good gate there as well, don't they? So got a good fan base behind them there as well. So York City 15th for me. And just a shout out actually to Paddy McLaughlin, who plays for York City, because he's actually a relative of my wife. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. Come to Boston.
Yeah, I actually messaged him once and said, come to Boston. He didn't. Instead, he sent my boy a York City shirt.
Oh,
oh no.
And that was after the playoffs. We got a signed team photo the week after the playoffs. We lost to them. Can you believe that in the post? What a guy, eh?
Put it in the fire. That's what I did.
But at least you had a cloth to wash the car with.
Yeah.
No, Paddy McLaughlin, there you go. Maybe a Pilgrim one day, you never know.
He's a captain, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's been there a lot of years as well. I think there was talks about him exiting the door this summer, but he just signed another year. They just keep piling year contracts on him, so they must like what they see. And I think they've still got the shop there as well, haven't they? Old John Lewis, man, haven't they? So I think they've got enough goals in them to stay up, and like I say, to keep them in that National League quite comfortably.
Yeah. I've gone for 15th. Kingston Town reborn. Tommy Widrington and his crew of ex-Linnets, Josh Barrett, Mark Stewart's there now. There's a few more that I can't remember. No, he didn't go. He went somewhere else. But like that. It's basically Kingston Town. Widrington sort of raided Kings Lynn for all his players, and it seemed to work for him. I think they'll do all right. They could be pushing higher than this, but I just stuck them in 15th because I know he likes to win against Boston, but can he win against other teams? I don't know about that. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't really know much about it, to be honest, but I like the ground. I've seen some pictures online, and they have a very, very nice derby between them and don't kill me if I get it. I think it's them and Woking. They dislike each other a lot.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
Lots and lots of videos of that on YouTube, and it seems to get very heated. So when that's on, I might have a pop down there, see what's going on.
Yeah, that's a ground actually that I've been to as well. That is a former ground that I have actually been to. The Recreation Ground, I believe it is, unless it's changed its name since then. But yeah, not a bad little stadium there at Aldershot.
Have you done many before, or many more before? How many have you done so far?
Grounds.
Yeah.
In this league, I've been to Rochdale.
Yeah.
I've been to the Old York Ground, Oldham Athletic. I've been to Hartlepool. I've been to Aldershot. Been to Halifax. Been to Ebbsfleet. Obviously Boston, and that's it.
Get around quite a lot. Wow. Obviously, I'm a young one. I've not seen the Boston of old. I don't know.
No.
Anything. So yeah, it'll be interesting to me. I'm trying to get on as many away days as I can at the moment. Try and experience as many as these before we hopefully. But it is a possibility before we go back down. So we'll just have to try and get the grounds ticked off.
Definitely. So I have got in 14th place. Now it is a place that I've just mentioned that I've been to. And when I went there, I remember going down a small alleyway and there was a cafe, went in there, and you know what? I had the best chip butty I've ever had in my life. And I would love to know, FC Halifax fans, if you're watching this or listening to this, is there a cafe down a little alleyway? Is it still there? And they still do chip butties? Because if they do, I'm coming up when we play.
Yeah, we'll order 3 now, Damo. Get three on order. Mate.
Yes. Yeah. It was very nice, and So I think 14th, I'm going for FC Halifax. You know, they've had their problems in the past. You know, they've struggled a little bit, but you know, I think now they're sort of getting a hold of the National League, and I think they'll do okay, you know, mid-table, and I think they'll be happy there. 14th for them, for FC Halifax. So, Steaders, 14th.
14th, I think it's been mentioned as well before. Ebbsfleet, I think I put in for 14th this time. Again, not too sure. And again, apologies to any Ebbsfleet fans out there. I don't know loads about your club. But yeah, I've gone for 14th for you. But again, they might be happy with 14th. Ebbsfleet fans, get in touch if you're happy with 14th, or if I'm completely wrong, let me know. But yeah, 14th place for them.
Don't forget, Steaders, you can take the wife to that one and she can go shopping at Blue Water.
Absolutely.
It's just down the road.
Yeah. I've been to Blue Water before. Very expensive experience. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
In worst case, just across the water's lakeside. So
cheaper, like that.
Yes.
I feel like I'm being left out. I don't know what any of this means.
And just to let you know, there are other shopping centres as well available around the country. David.
Yeah, 14th. I've gone for Dagenham and Redbridge. We used to spend a lot of money back then, but I don't think we'll be doing it much nowadays. Sorry that didn't come off as I wanted. But yeah, Dagenham and Redbridge, 14th. We've got history with them. It'll be good. It'll be a great game, I think. Both games against them. Maybe one for more the old timers, obviously, that witnessed the history of Boston getting out of the conference and stuff. And we'll just have to see. I think it'll be good games against them, but I think they'll do relatively well now. Just sit mid-table where they probably have been for the last few years.
Yeah, definitely. And just before we go to the next one as well, I just want to mention about the other night when we played Grimsby Town in the friendly at the Jakemans as well. There was about 200 odd Grimsby fans, I believe. Oh, there was about Grimsby fans, and I think roughly that's probably how many might be coming down on an average. Maybe obviously a few more. So it's looking like what we've got for the away end might be okay. They might just need to move it up slightly. But what's your take on that?
Yeah,
it's or David.
I'll go first. Like you say, if Grimsby win that, obviously it's pre-season. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I will expect clubs at the higher end of this list and bigger fan bases to bring more than that. If we do have to move the blue tarp down that zips across the east stand every game, it's a shame we haven't got that fourth stand. We've been promised and promised and promised. It will come. Just not in 2024, I don't think. It's a shame really, because that's the dedicated away end, and they're going to have to take up some of the home end. But like you say, we could probably handle a healthy 400, I reckon. Maybe cater for a few more when you're looking for these bigger teams like Oldham and stuff. But it's just whether they travel to Boston. Well, like you say, we're in the cabbage patch on the coast in the middle of nowhere, so we'll just have to see how many fans turn up. But that's an advantage, because they are not going to bring as many fans. The teams aren't going to like traveling. Let's be honest, the roads around here aren't very good, but the stadium is state of the art. So guys, if you've not come to the Boston ground yet, it's a great ground. It's just a bit of a pain to get to. So it definitely needs to be on there. And we might not even be in this league this time to come next year. So come and spend some money in the area, please.
Yeah, definitely. Steaders.
I think there's an agreement, and I think it's 15% of the overall attendance. I think we must give away to away fans. I think that's the overriding part. So and I agree totally with David. The guys in the upper lengths of this league will definitely bring their full allocation, I expect. And there'll be some teams like Fire that'll probably bring 20. And then, and that it's just a part and parcel of the league we're going to be playing in. But I just hope that the Boston fans don't be put off by the geographical issues with the league this season, where we have, our closest game's Tamworth. And that's not close, No. So don't be put off by that. I'm hoping they're all just going to embrace the fact that we're going to new grounds, playing new teams, and we can get our away end going up another level, because it was brilliant this season just gone, weren't it? And that's a big shout out. I'll tell you what, give a big shout out to Booster as well, the Boston United Supporters Association, who again this year are putting on coaches for members for 15 quid for anywhere up and down the country. Probably the best value again in the league. I would say it will be, because you won't beat that for price. So big up shout for them for trying to get as many people on these coaches to go, and let's get behind them, because they're going to, like I say, points away from home might be few and far between. So let's just enjoy it.
That's it. That's what it's all about this season. Just enjoying every single game, home and away. And I echo David's comments as well, that if you are watching this and you're another supporter of another team, and come to Boston, because it is a fantastic stadium. It isn't easy to get to, but it's a great ground. It's a fairly new ground 4 to 5 years old, I guess now. And it's looking, as good as it was on the first day. And a real, thanks to David Newton, the chairman, who's managed to sort of get the stadium built. So yeah, it's all looking good, isn't it?
Sure is.
Right. 13th. Now, you both mentioned it. Maybe it's slightly higher, but I will keep them here because you never know what's going to happen anyway. Football, as they say, is a funny old game. And I've gone for Woking in 13th. I wasn't sure on their financial, problems that they were having, if I'm being honest. But hopefully they will get sorted out and they will finish 13th in there. So I will get that one right. But I've gone for Woking to finish 13th. So hopefully, as I say, fingers crossed they can get something sorted and finish up there anyway. Steaders.
Yeah, my 13th place goes to a team you mentioned earlier, I think, Damo, and one that's come down from the Football League. Sutton United for me, 13th. Again, I don't think they're going to have enough to be up there. I don't think either team that's come down from the Football League has spent heavily either. I don't think they've really invested loads into their squads. I think a lot of the squads have either been let go. People in their squads have been let go. Not a lot of retained either. So it's going to be interesting in what kind of sides they're going to put out. Sutton and Forest Green, who we'll get onto later on, I'm sure. But yes, Sutton United for me in 13th.
Yeah, and in 13th, I predicted York City. We've had a fair share of games against York in these past few years. I absolutely love a York versus Boston game. I can't lie. I can remember in 2019 where we beat them at home just before the season was curtailed for COVID-19. We beat them 3-1 at home, and that was a bumper attendance, over 2,000 there, I believe, at York Street. One of its last proper send-offs, in my opinion. I always just love, and obviously we need to get a scout back for the one that they took off us in the playoff final. But I can't lie, I love going to that new ground. It's a state-of-the-art stadium. Both of us got state-of-the-art stadiums. I'd say we're probably we're not similar in stature size. I get a lot more at home, but like back in the day, Boston versus York was a good game to look forward to, and I believe it's going to be the same again this year. I'm really, really looking forward to going up against the Minster men again in the National League.
And it's a much better ground than Bootham Crescent as well. It was much, much better ground than that was as well. And probably an easier location, I think, as well, to what that one was, right in the middle of the town. So, right, so that's their 13th. 12th, I'm going for Aldershot. I think, again, a team, like you say, decent manager who's been at Kingsley and he's taken, his Kingsley 11 with him. And, he did an okay job there last season, and again, I think they'll finish mid-table just about now, and they won't sort of. I don't think there's any chance of them going up, but I don't think there's any chance of them going down either. So I'm going for mid-table, 12th, Aldershot.
Yeah, 12th for me is a team again you can associate with Boston a little bit. Yeovil Town for me for 12th. Again, a team that's come up. Scott Pollock obviously got his connections there as well, as many others. And again, I think this is a game that a lot of Boston fans are looking forward to because, like I say, we have got, I think, a bit of history there with these guys. So, another game for Boston fans to look forward to, but dead in the middle, 12th position, Yeovil Town.
Yeah, and for 12th for me, it's one of the clubs that just come down from the Football League. I've gone for Forest Green Rovers. They have made a few decent signings, and I can't wait to go and get my vegan sausage rolls there. But we've got they made the signing of what's the guy with the long throw-ins that used to play for Wrexham? I can't remember his name.
Ben Tozer.
That's it. Yeah,
ex-Lincoln City player.
Yeah. But yeah, he's come down from Wrexham to come play for them. I think they've got a bit of money, to be fair, but I don't think they're spending too much. It's just one of them where I think they'll just fall down a bit the table. They're just trying to get back on their feet and maybe go and challenge in a few years back to get into the Football League.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And so I've just had a look at the fixtures, and I'm sure a lot of the Boston fans will be looking forward to going down to Yeovil on a nice February day. Yeah,
the long old way, isn't it?
It is, yeah. If it was
it's
the
not.
end of the season, wouldn't that be great? Have a
At least
weekend
it's
of it.
not. At least it's not a Gateshead away on a Tuesday night. That's all I care about. At least it's
That's
on the
very
day.
true, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think they've been a bit unkind to us on some of them, matches. So yeah, right. We're up to 11th, and it's another ground that I have been to, and it's going to be another bit of a trek. And this one's going to be Hartlepool. Again, a decent team, ex-league experience. They have struggled quite a lot actually since they've been um, in the National League. They've not done fantastic, but I think this season, I think they'll start to pick up a bit now, and start moving up the table. Again, I don't think they're a team that's going to go up this season, but I think they'll do nice things, good things, and they're stuck on the North Sea as well. I do remember standing on the terraces at Hartlepool and being absolutely frozen because it was so cold and I just couldn't warm up. In fact, I was so happy when the final whistle went and I was able to jump back on the coach and get warm again. So, so fond memories of Hartlepool, and I think they're going to finish 11th. Status.
A ground that don't think I'll be heading to, and probably the worst atmosphere in the league. And they'll probably hate me for saying this, but Gateshead 11th. That running track around your pitch. What are you doing? Running tracks belong in Olympic stadiums. They don't belong at football grounds.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. Terrible ground to go to. I think it's one of our Tuesday night games as well, isn't it? Is it a Tuesday night?
I believe it is.
Oh, come on. But 11th for them, because again, I think they'll get enough points to stay up, and annoyingly might have to play them again next season if we stay up as well. So, but yeah, 11th for Gateshead.
Yeah, my 11th place. I've gone for Yeovil. Tom, you put them 12th. Just come up from the National League South, but they were a big club. I can remember a few years ago they were in the Championship, and now they're down here in the National League. But yeah, big club. I believe they've got quite a bit of money behind them. I think they'll do okay in their first year, and they'll definitely stay safe and maybe even push into the top 10. You never know.
Yeah, that's a good call. Just having a look, Gateshead, Tuesday the 24th of September. We've got to travel to Gateshead. And I'm just having a look. The return game is at the moment Saturday the 26th of April. And it's the last home game of the season.
I just think as well, some of these, like you say, some of these long away treks, it's no good for Boston fans, is it? You know what I mean? How many are we going to actually physically get to a Gateshead on a Tuesday night? Stick it on a Saturday, and you can probably double that amount. You know what I mean? Which is such a shame for some of these places, because like David said, some of these guys just want to tick these grounds off, and to put a game on against Gateshead away on a Tuesday night is just ludicrous, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And with the thing, obviously they had that trouble last season with the playoffs, and they weren't allowed to go. That was something to do with the ground and the lease, wasn't it? I believe. But I was wondering, could they have not maybe tried to ground share another ground at the time? I mean, obviously Gateshead fans maybe watching this will know the situation and know the reasons behind it. But as an outsider, I was thinking, could they try and maybe ground share with South Shields or somebody like that, up there? So yeah, but obviously again, I don't know the situation. They would, so they'll know the reasons behind it. So unlucky, really, not to get in the playoffs. But Bromley took advantage anyway and got promoted. So at the end of the day, they'll be happy and no argument. So yeah, right, 10th. I've gone for Yeovil. So we all think they're going to be that sort of roundabouts. They're, a team again that's probably not going to set the world alight in the National League, but they're going to do okay next season. They're going to pick up quite a few points, and I've got them just in the top 10. So Steaders.
Yeah, 10th for me, a team that's already been mentioned, I think, as well. Aldershot Town for me in 10th for us. Widrington's Kings Lynn rejects. We'll go with that, shall we? Yeah, we'll go with that. 10th for me for them. He's a good manager. I actually rate him as a manager, and I think he's a pretty decent bloke and a decent manager. He came across well when he was at Kingsley. I know it all finished all a bit sour over there, but I actually rate him as a bit of a manager. So yeah, Tommy Woodrington's oldest shot
10th. And in 10th, I've gone for the Monkey Hangers in Hartlepool. Former Football League club, like you say, but they are sort of struggling a bit, trying to find their footing back in the foot. I remember the COVID lockdown. I watched. It was Torquay versus Hartlepool playoff final, and that was where Lucas Coverland, the Torquay goalkeeper, scored. And then Hartlepool went up that year because they won a penalty shootout. And then I think they stayed in the league for 2 years, and then they've just come back down the season before last. So yeah, they're just struggling to find their feet. They haven't really done much in their first season, but you can see why the National League is such a competitive league. But now you think about it, this year, all the teams that have gone, Chesterfield, Wrexham have gone, Notts County have gone. This is probably the most open the league has been in quite a few seasons now, and I reckon we could see a definite surprise for the title, and we'll just have to see who you think takes it in a few minutes' time.
Well, none of us have mentioned a certain team yet, but maybe we've all got the same one. But we'll see. We'll see. In 9th for me, I've got a team that has been mentioned already, Eastleigh. I think they'll do okay. You know, again, they're in a good area. I used to live down Portsmouth area, so you know I've sort of know a little bit about Eastleigh. You know, they've got a decent ground there. They've got they've had a decent team. You know, they're sort of near Southampton and Portsmouth and down that area. But you know, they've held their own for the last few years, and you know, as I say, they're a decent team. They've just signed, of course, Deji Satona, who was with us last season, and yeah, as I say, I think they'll finish in 9th position. So. They'll do okay.
Yeah, my 9th position, again, Boston connections, Altrincham for me, just outside the playoffs. I think they had a pretty decent season last season, didn't they? I think they finished quite high up. Over exceeded expectations. They haven't looked back since actually getting promoted at York Street either. Let's look at that. I don't think they've even flirted with the relegation since then. So they've done ever so well, really, considering, I think. So yeah, 9th position for Altrincham for me, and thanks for finally giving us the guy that scored the last goal at York Street.
Yes, yeah, it's nice that he's actually now on Boston's books, isn't it? It makes that history look a bit better now, doesn't it?
It still hurts, Davo. Trust me, that one hurts more than any. Trust me, out of all the playoffs ones, that is the one that hurts. I think it's because we couldn't be there as well. That is the point about that one. The fact that we couldn't be there to see it. And we had to all sit and cry in front of a television, which is a real bad point. But yeah, Altrincham for me for 9th.
I think we forgive him now, don't we, or do we?
We'll
see. We'll see in 9 months' time, 10 months' time.
Yeah, 9th place for me. I've gone for a team that I saw last season in the FA Trophy final. And failed to win it and failed to win the playoffs at Wembley in the same week, and that's Solihull Moors. They've lost some good players in Joe Sabara to Donny. Andy Wing is a good manager. He's poached from Banbury at the end of this beginning of last year or the beginning of the last season. He's done absolute wonders for them, to be fair. And he's just he did really well. Surprised a lot of people, actually. You never thought Solihull Moors with the location that they are and their financial position to be challenging for that point. But yeah, I think they're going to have a bit of a blip this season. I think they're going to fall off after all the highs of last season. I think they're going to fall off a bit and probably finish outside the playoff places.
Right. Okay.
I don't like that smile on your face.
We'll see. I haven't mentioned them yet.
Nor have I, Damo. Nor have I. They're coming.
No. For some of the things you're saying, I'm thinking, have I placed these too high? Have I not? We'll see. Right. For me, just finishing outside the playoffs and just missing out is an ex-league team, Oldham Athletic. Again, as I say, they're known for their. Obviously, they had one season, I believe, in the Premier League. But
Correct.
they were, didn't they? They did have one season in the Premier League.
The inaugural one, weren't it? It was
That's
the very
right.
first season.
That's it. Yep. I do remember that. And yeah, so again, as I say, they've struggled since. Obviously, gone right down to the National League now, and have really struggled in there. But again, I think they'll do okay this season. They'll pick up quite a few points, but unfortunately for Oldham fans, I'm afraid you're just going to miss out on the playoffs.
Yeah, my 8th place and missing out on the playoffs. We're talking about big clubs now as well, aren't we? We're talking about ex-Football League, ex-Premier League clubs. Halifax Town just missed out on the playoffs for me. 8th place for them. I think they'll have a great season again. And remember, guys, we're talking from no experience here again. We will put that out there as we get to these higher echelons of the National League. We are talking from very little experience. We're just going off what we think might happen. But I'm looking forward to going to Halifax as a ground, actually. Never been there. I think you said you've been before, Damon.
Yes, I have, yes.
What's it like?
It's okay. It's not bad. It's better than some. It's better than some grounds. But it's got some seating area. It's, I mean, obviously, it's quite a few years ago I went, so it's probably changed now. But yeah, not a bad area and not a bad ground there. So
yeah, Halifax just missed out. Sorry, guys.
And for 8th, I've gone for Gateshead, who I became an honorary fan of at the end of last season when I went in there and for the FA Trophy final.
Why?
And why? Would you rather Gateshead or would you rather Solihull Moors? Sorry,
well, true. I'd rather not go.
I wanted to do Wembley my 4th time, and I was lucky enough to watch a penalty shootout right in front of me, and you can actually see me on the telly when they win. So that's the good thing about it. But yeah, they're really good. I actually like Gateshead as a team a lot. Rob Elliott's in charge. Come up from the National League North a few years ago. Done really, really well there. We've got ex-Pilgrim there, Tiernan Brooks. You know, that goalie that played for like 4 games for us, and played part in the when we were 2-0 up against Kettering at half time, we lost 3-2. Yeah, I'm going to pin that on him, and hopefully we can perform something like that again this season on them. But yeah, they're a very, very good side that I think highly of this league, and I think they'll do quite well. But I think they'll just miss out on the playoffs. And if they do probably get in the playoffs, they don't have the lease on the ground like we mentioned earlier, so they probably wouldn't get in anyway.
Right. So so that's just missing out. So right, who is just gonna get into the playoffs for me is number 7, Forest Green Rovers. Again, got relegated last season, but I think they're going to do okay. I think, like I said, I think one team always does quite badly, which unfortunately I think it's going to be Sutton United, and then one team, does respectable, does okay in the league. And like you said, they haven't done a great bit of work in the transfer market as yet, but I think they'll do okay. I think they'll just scrape in the playoffs. Will they win the playoffs? Well, we'll tell you later that, but we're going to have our prediction on who we think is going to win the playoffs in a little while when we've done this. But yeah, Forest Green Rovers for me, finishing in 7th place.
Yeah, 7th for me, just getting in there. Another team I think Boston fans are looking forward to playing once again is Rochdale. I think they'll just get inside the playoffs for me. After the first game, of course, we'll nick 3 points off them first, and then they'll be fine. But yeah, Rochdale for me just to get inside there. It's a bit of a shame that they're 4th from grace, really, though, isn't it? Like you say, we've come up 1 league and they've come down 2 since that FA Cup game. So, it's a bit of a fall from grace from there. But I think they've got the financial resources and the fans as well to sneak into them playoffs. Again, will they win them? We'll see what we say soon, won't we? But yeah, Rochdale for 7th.
Right, I'm worried what you two are going to say about this one, but I put Southend in 7th, just sneaking in the playoffs. Financial trouble, as we know, all been plaguing them for the past few seasons now. They had their embargo lifted though, but I believe there was another one stuck on them, and they've lifted that one again, which it's a lot of hassle, isn't it? But I think they'll do well with the budget that they're getting from places, which I don't know how, but I hope it's spent in the right areas. They're a big club, lovely old ground. I've actually already got my my seat to go to there in August. Sorry, and yeah, I'm hoping it'll be a great away day at a classic old stadium. But yeah,
do you think it'll be an advantage us playing them so early in the season as well, David, or do you think that won't make any difference to it whatsoever?
In what terms? Do you mean like?
Well, the fact that probably their team's not going to have gelled as much as probably they wanted it to. Fair play, ours probably wouldn't have as well. But I can remember Boston going to Grimsby when we got into the Football League. We played Grimsby away. I think it was the second game of the season. Again, similar. And we went there. We got a 1-1 draw. We played so well. Steve Melton scored for us. I remember it like it was yesterday. And we was heavily tipped to lose that game, but the fact that we caught them quite cold on and early on in the season just meant that we came away with something. I just thought, what your thoughts were, if it's any advantage going there so early on.
Yeah, well, it could balance out. Like I say, we've got a new place that we've had to sign as well, and it'll just be. I cannot really see it making much difference because Kevin Maher, their manager, I believe he got freedom of the city. That's how good of a job he's done under the budget. And yeah, they've had to stick with the same players for quite a few seasons now because obviously the embargo was just lifted. Whether they go and sign many more or not, that's up to them. But yeah, I think they've got a really, really good core group there, and I think it's the leadership and the teamwork that really drives them on. Us going there causing upset could happen. I mean, there's going to be a few on the cards this season, and it could be. I reckon we could go to the big boys and steal some points. And I reckon we'll probably slip up against some of the lower teams as well. But yeah, if we hit the ground running, I believe if we get some points on the board, and we're not bottom of the league by the time we play that, I think we can maybe pick up a point at Roots Hall. We'll have to see.
I think what amazes me is, that I'm talking about a club like Boston United, because obviously I said earlier, I used to live in Kent and they have their little regional news programs. And I always remember it used to be Southend, Gillingham, Brighton, and I think there was one other, I can't remember who now, but they used to focus on them. And Southend were in, at the time, Division 1, which is now the Championship. And they were the top team in the region, always playing the top clubs. And now they're sort of down in the National League, just shows you. And hopefully now, they if they can sort their financial problems out, maybe they'll eventually get back into the league. But it's gonna be a tough season for them. I believe they've signed 3 or 4 players already, haven't they? So is it an advantage having the squad? You said a squad that's been together for a few years. That could be an advantage. They know each other inside out now. They know how they all play. That could be an advantage. Who knows? So we'll see. But right, I've got in 6th place. We're up to, aren't we now? York City. I think they've been up a couple of seasons now. I think they're going to do okay next season. I think they're going to move on from this last season, and I think they're going to make the playoffs. And is Billy Chadwick still at York?
Yeah,
he is, isn't he? So. Yeah, so he could probably coming back down. Hopefully, he won't be coming down to haunt us or haunting us up there. But of course, they've got him amongst other players, and yeah, I think York are gonna make the playoffs and finish 6th.
Yeah, my 6th is Solihull Moors, so I think they will get them top 7 again. They've really established themselves as a top-end National League side, haven't they? And David obviously, and like David rightly in his opinion says, that they could also peter out. I think it's one of them teams that will either be top 7 or 12th. Do you know what I mean? I can't see it being anything in between. But yeah, Solihull Moors to make the playoffs once more this season in the National League for me. 6th place.
6th place for me. I've gone for Halifax. I believe you two have already mentioned them, but like I say, great old ground, good setup down there. I believe Joe Cummings, still plays for him. He might have been released.
Oh wow!
I know. What a link that is. That no ex-football league, they've sort of struggled in the National League. Always really been in and around the playoffs, but not really launched another promotion push. So yeah, it'd be nice. It's a ground I'm really looking forward to. That terrace behind the goal looks really tasty. I can't lie. So yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, I put them sixth, finishing the playoffs. But they are not my playoff winners.
Right.
Oh,
There's a bit of a giveaway there.
Didn't he? Yeah.
Right. Fifth, well, we mentioned it earlier, didn't we? Southend. So I think David's been sneaking at my table. But no, I think Southend, now that they've, basically what I just said, really, I mean, and what you guys have said, they've had the restrictions lifted by players now. They've got some new players in. They've got the old players. Like I said, maybe that's an advantage that they know how they play. And they are a sleeping giant of the National League, to be fair, Southend. They should be in the league, to be fair, And I think they'll make the playoffs. Will they be my winners? Well, we'll have to wait and see soon. But I think that Southend will finish fifth this season.
Yeah, my guys should be the fittest because I believe they have a strict regime and dieting as well as everything else. So it's Forest Green Rovers for fifth for me. So yeah, vegan burgers all round. But yeah, a well-run club, like you say, former Football League club, obviously coming down this season. I think they'll finish fifth. No Troy Deeney there anymore, I'm afraid, so I won't be seeing him at Boston. But I'm sure they'll have an array of players. It's a weird setup, but I tell you what, it's fantastic in the strangest term of weird, isn't it? How they run that, all by wind, isn't it? And
that's right.
And man-made and wood and. There's like not an ounce of fat on them, is there? So yeah, so they should be the most healthiest team in the league. So Forest Green fifth.
Yeah, for my fifth, I've gone for another former. This is what you see in here. I don't really know who to pick, so I'm going for the big hitters. Former Football League, Oldham. Since they come down, they've not been the best. I don't think they've challenged. I believe they finished 9th or 10th last year. I think this is their time to really push on for promotion, and we'll just see. Like say, I know their chairman is actually quite a big personality on social media. I believe he's something like rode around Africa or something like that, and he's raised a lot of money for the club and his family that own it. So yeah, I think there's good people there behind the scenes taking over. Like what David said, these are giants of the non-league game, and sleeping giants, probably the Football League, because that's probably where they deserve to be. But yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. Then I think they'll finish fifth, but I don't think they'll be going up this year either.
Right. Four.
Are we going to save them to the end, or are we going to?
Yeah,
we'll save them to the end.
I won't pull it out early.
So fourth, I'm going for one that you've both, I believe, mentioned already. Gateshead. I think again, they did well last season. Probably a bit let down. They couldn't get in, compete into the playoffs, but I think they'll be hungry to go again this season. I think they'll be wanting to prove a point, and I think they'll be up there or thereabouts again in the playoffs, and we'll see how they do in the playoffs in a little while.
Yeah, fourth for me. Fond memories of the away game there in the FA Cup. It's Hartlepool United for me. So Victoria Park. A quick story about that. So basically, if you've not already read Tales of a Pilgrim, it's inside there as well. But me and a group of lads went up to there in a minibus. And back in the day, obviously, you all chip in for your minibus. We'd have no change to get over Dunham Bridge. I think it was like 50p to get over. So we took a can of Carling instead, which was fantastic. What a gesture from the guy on the bridge, eh? We took a can of lager and let us through for the day. Adam Boyd scored the winner in the replay down at York Street as well. To heartbreak for Boston, and a 1-0 replay back down here at York Street. But yeah, Victoria Park on a very freezing cold January night, Damo. So I can relate to that. But if we can get a good crowd up there, it's a great ground behind that goal, isn't it?
It is.
A great.
A lot of room.
They are loud. They are loud fans. I can remember them vividly being very loud.
Yes.
And they missed a very good chance in the last minute to take it to a replay as well. And it's safe to say that the bus on the way back was a lot more cheerful on the way there. So, yeah, let's hope we can get something up there. But Hartlepool for me for 4th.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah, 4 for me. A club that you two seem to have written off, but I think is a textbook National League team that's run. I think it's ran the best in the league financial wise. They're overachieving, and they're overachieving consistently, and that's Altrincham. They've overachieved now for the past 2 or 3 seasons. I believe they finished 3rd last year. For a club that got promoted in the 2019-20 season, that is relatively good going. I know it's 4 seasons on, but they're ran so well that the players that you have, that you don't think they're going to be superstars, but somehow they're always up there every year. And yeah, I think they'll be in there once again. Whether they do it or not, that's the question. We'll just have to see.
Right. Okay. Looks like David's done his research a bit more than we have.
Yeah, definitely.
No, we'll see come May and June.
Yeah.
Right. In 3rd place for me is one that you both mentioned and did well last season, was unfortunately last season, Solihull Moors. As I say, I was quite impressed. I did see their last game or two, I believe, on the TV. And I'll be honest, I was quite impressed with them, to be honest. Haven't taken much notice of them in the past. You know, it's not a team I've really looked out. You know, I knew the name, I knew there was a team there, but never really took much notice of them. But I was impressed with what I saw, and they probably, like you say, I think they have lost some players this season. But hopefully they've signed some decent players to replace them, and I think they might push on and, you know, maybe not, you know, obviously not win the league, but I think they could be up there, and I put them in 3rd position. So Solihull Moors for me.
Yeah, so 3rd for me, as we mentioned as well, Sleeping Giants now of the non-league, Southend United for me. I think they'll finish 3rd. I think they'll have a very good home record. I think they're, you know, again, hopefully after Boston's been. Yeah, I think they'll have a very good home record. They're picking enough points up to get them up to them top end of the league and get themselves a favourable draw in these playoffs. But we all know what these playoffs are like, don't we? You know, Boston won all them games away from home. It means nothing, unfortunately, in these playoff situations. But Southend for me to finish 3rd.
And for me, a club that we know pretty well from 2019, I've gone with Rochdale. Like you say, sort of fell out of the Football League. I reckon this will be the year where they push on a bit now. They've not had the best of times in the past few years. Like I say, have been demoted twice since we played them in 2019, and we sort of met them in the middle when we got promoted. But yeah, it'll be nice to go down to Scotland again, and we'll just have to see. And they are our first opponents on opening day, so hopefully we can win 3-0, and we can start singing about us going to the Football League. We'll be top.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Keep touching wood. Keep our fingers crossed that happens. Right. Well, we're down to the top 2 now. So there's one team that none of us have mentioned for sure, which I've got a feeling we won't be mentioning next either, but we might do. Who knows? But in my 2nd place, who I think is going to miss out is the team you've just mentioned in 3rd, David, Rochdale. I think they're going to finish 2nd. You know, they're a good club. They're a strong club. As I say, fond memories for Boston United as well. I've been to that ground as well up at Rochdale, in the heart of Manchester, I believe, as well. And in fact, I do remember going there and going past Coronation Street on the way there, Granada Studios, and you could see the tops of Coronation Street at the time. I believe they've moved from there now, but it wasn't too far from there either. You know, we were soon at the ground after that one. So, but they get a decent crowd in there as well. Again, like Hartlepool, it's a loud crowd, and you know it's going to keep the Boston players on their toes when they go there. I think they'll bring a fair few down to Boston on the August the 10th as well. But I think they're just going to miss out on going up. I think it's going to be a lot closer than it has been the last last season. The season before, obviously, it was between Notts County and Wrexham, but which was very close. But I think it's going to be a lot closer this season. But for me, in second place is Rochdale.
Okay, so yeah, I'm obviously left with two teams. One's pretty obvious and one isn't. So, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't throw the form book out the window. Bookies have put them favourites by a mile, so I'm going to put them in second place. Barnet, second place.
Ooh,
go on, let's do
okay.
it. Let's go for second place for Barnet. It's going to be a tough place to go. Oh my God, down there, isn't it, for Boston? I can see both games being a right struggle for us against them, to be honest with you. Recruited well, and again, Football League experience. And I just thought it'd be different to the norm because I had a feeling that you two would pick them to win, and it's looking very, very likely. Barnet for second.
Well, David hasn't said his yet. David, who's going for number 2?
Well, I think you could all see this coming. There's only 2, and one of them's definitely going to finish above the rest. I've gone for one that you two have already written off. I don't really. We've sort of done the same thing because you're right. In one of the Football League teams comes down and struggles, and one of them I chose Forest Green to struggle, but I think Sutton will do well. Like you say, the location of them, they just come down. I think they'll be all right, to be honest. And we got that away day relatively early on in September, I believe. I'm looking forward to go down there and hopefully be on the radio there. We'll just have to see. But yeah, they just come down recently, and I think they'll challenge again probably. But we all know what team I'm left up with. I can't remember what Tom is. We'll just have to see what he's got off his sleeve.
Yeah. Yep, for me, finishing in first place, who's going to be promoted this season, and I think they do deserve it. They've looked like they're getting stronger and stronger every season, and this season they're going to go straight back up. I think, or go up anyway. Is Barnet? Yeah, as I say, in the heart of in London, North London, they are, and been past the ground, haven't been in it. Been past the ground, the Hive, I believe it's called. Bit of a strange one, actually, but not too far from Wembley Stadium either, actually. I've been past it on the way to Wembley Stadium. So, not too bad a ground there, but I think they're going to be very strong this season, and I think they're going to be the team that's going to get promoted. So, number 1 for me is Barnet.
Yeah, here we go then. So the one that, if you haven't been paying attention to, is the one that's left for me is Oldham Athletic. I think it might be their year this year. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go with them, guys. Yeah, ex-Premier League team. We'll go with them. Do you know what? It was probably the harder one to pick. I found picking the top 7 harder than picking the bottom 4. That is for certain.
Yeah.
So I think we've done pretty well though in terms of nearly getting it right. There's a few that are a bit right and left field, but not loads really.
There's always going to be though.
Of course, and that's what we want. Is it again, viewers, listeners? Tell us if we're wrong. Oldham Athletic for me to win the title. I think they'll just have enough, too much at home for a lot of teams. And again, I get Boston's going to struggle. I think to take anything from them this season. But Oldham for the title, and back up to the Football League.
Fair. Yeah. And for me, Barnet, what a surprise. No.
Wow, really?
And I believe that was where Ted Lasso was filmed, actually. Made it to the semis and the playoff final season before that. And they've really struggled. Like I say, this is probably in terms of like the quality, it's probably been the poorest the National League has been in a few years, and I think this is their chance to run away with it. But like I say, any of those top 7, maybe even encroaching like the top 10, probably could nick it. Like it's quite open field. I don't think there's anyone absolutely spectacular, but I think Barnet will be the team that cements their place and goes back up to the Football League. They were in there a few years ago, if I'm not wrong. I can't. Yeah.
Yes, they are. They were. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they'll go back up there.
Right, so there we go. So that is our top 24 from 24 up to 1. If you're listening or watching, what do you think? Do you agree? Comment on social media under where you've seen the post. Let us know what you think, fans. And like I said, be very kind because we are new to the league and we're not totally sure, but we will have a special at the end of the season. where we will go through the 24 and we will see how we have done. So interesting to say the least. But of course, there will be 2 teams going up. Tom reckons Oldham, myself and David reckons Barnet, and one of the teams from position 2 to 7 as well will be promoted. And who do we think is going to be the team that's going to go up? I think for me, I'm going with the second place team. I'm going for Rochdale. I do think that they're just going to be too strong this season, and I think they're going to get promoted. And so it's going to be the top 2 in the end that is going up, is what I would say. Steaders?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close between my second and third. I can't really split between Barnet and Southend. So I'm going to throw the form book right out the window. Let's go with Southend for the playoffs, and beating Barnet in the final. There you go.
Right, okay, David.
I think this is what Tom was alluding to when he said some left field stuff. But I'm going to go for a left field winner. I'm going to go for Altrincham. I can't lie. I'm such in awe of what they've got going down there. I would absolutely love to see them in the Football League. Is it realistic? Not, but you never know. Like I say, they ran very, very well for the budget that they run on. I'd love to see them in the Football League, but it probably won't happen. But that's who I'm putting my money on.
Right, so there you go. So very interesting. So yeah, how have we done? Be interesting to find out. So of course it all kicks off August the 10th. As for us Boston United fans, Pilgrims fans, we are home to Rochdale at the Jakeman's Community Stadium on August 10th, 3 p.m. kickoff. So looking very much forward to that one. And yeah, let us know how how we've done. Be interesting to find out. So yeah, so thanks very much, guys. If you do want to subscribe to the podcast or to the YouTube video, of course it'll be on YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube, or you can subscribe on Spotify, on Apple Music, or on Amazon Music as well. We are there. And yes, subscribe, and we will have another episode very soon. So my thanks to Steaders and to David.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Cheers.
And we will see you all again very soon.
Up the Pilgrims.
Up the Pilgrims.